What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Cam ATL. Shout out to the DFS squad. Shout out to everybody watching this video right now. Drop a like down below because I already know you're gonna love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Make sure you comment anything in the comment section and enter your name into the $50 giveaway that I do every single week on this channel. By the way, last week I offered $100 on the first look video that we did last week. I will be announcing the winner of that down in the comments section. On top of that, I will be doing another $100 giveaway, but we're going to do that on the final look. So it's not on this one. All right, we're going to wait and we're going to do it on the final look video when we break down the entire slate. All right, so stay tuned. I will be having a $100 giveaway on that one. All right, now, anyways, welcome back. Hopefully everybody had a great week one. It was a tough week one for me solely on the fact that, as you know, in DFS, sometimes you can make a decision to get off of a guy because of his high ownership, and then that just kind of bites you in the ass. And that's pretty much all it was for me. It came down to Devontae Adams. I had Devontae Adams in all of my lines the entire time I was building, preparing for the week. I loved Devontae Adams. Mentioned him a million times to you guys. Loved him. And then last minute decided, you know what? I'm going to spend this extra money that I'm able to find here, and I'm going to go Dalvin Cook against Green Bay. Everybody's going Devontae Adams. I'm going to be slick, and I'm going to go Dalvin Cook. Well, guess what happened to me? I got fucked. Okay. uh, but yeah, anyways, yeah, so it didn't work out great. But as you guys know, those moves like that end up being the reason for takedowns. Getting off of those high ownership guys, and I would do that a million times. Getting off of a super high owned guy like that is a smart move majority of the time. Now, if they're a free square, then cool. But I mean, if a guy is expensive and it looks like his ownership's going to be ridiculous, pivoting off of him to another guy who's going to have extremely low ownership with the same kind of matchup opportunity is a great way to go. It just didn't work out for me week one. But it doesn't matter what these guys want to try to do. Week two is going to be my bitch. And I hope you guys are ready to get it as well. Let's get straight into it. First look lineup, greenlightdfs.com to join the squad for the week. If you want the entire weekend, including Saturday's football and everything, we do Thursday night showdown. We do college football on Saturday, NFL main slate, NFL the night slate, and then Monday night. That is what you get with the weekend pass at greenlightdfs.com. So check that out, man. We're going to have an amazing season. Week one was just a little road bump in the very beginning of the year. Not a big deal. Literally, if I would have just stayed with Adams, we would have cashed. It wouldn't have been a big deal. But unfortunately, I tried to get slick. But it is what it is. Now, let's go ahead and get straight into this, man. All right? So, first thing that I'm going to start off with is I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson here. Lamar Jackson is my guy. Most of the time, I play this dude every single chance that I possibly get. Because plain and simple, he's the safest option week in, week out, no matter what, okay, with the highest upside of anybody else. Now he gets to go against this Houston squad that is a fantastic matchup in a dome. I love the situation here for Lamar Jackson. He is going to absolutely destroy once again. He was able to pull off almost 30 DraftKings points in a huge blowout against Cleveland. 38-6 that final score was. But yet he still got 27. Imagine if a game stays competitive. He's going to go for 40. So he's got huge upside here against Houston. I love Lamar Jackson. Run him up here in this matchup. All right, starting off at running back, I am going to go Kenyon Drake. Now, a lot of people might automatically shoot towards, and I'm not going to lie, when I was preparing my first look and I was going through some options, Kyler Murray was enticing to me. Pairing him up with DeAndre Hopkins, oh, of course, that was super enticing to me. But now we have to use some, let's think about this for a second. This matchup here does not feel like it's a good one for Washington at all. I mean, Arizona's offense is a super high-powered offense. They looked fantastic against San Francisco the other day, who was a solid defense. They looked fantastic. I don't see Washington being able to stop them here, and I think Arizona is able to win pretty comfortably here. And I kind of would rather the run game because I feel like it's going to – now, could DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray do their thing before it's a big – lopsided affair? Yes. But Kenyon Drake, regardless, is going to get his. All right, plain and simple. He's going to get his. He got decent targets in this first game, carries in this first game. Now going against Washington, it's just an amazing spot here, and I really see Kenyon Drake having a great game here. Don't forget, this is a Kenyon Drake guy who has gotten like 40-plus games multiple times. This is a huge boom guy, and now with this Arizona squad, if he's going to get solid about 20 carries or so a game, this is a beautiful matchup here against Washington. Really, really love him at home here, and I'm going to go Kenyon Drake. Next up, another guy who's going to be benefiting a lot. Unfortunately, Marlon Mack ruptured his Achilles, which is horrible news. Hopefully he's able to bounce back stronger than ever. But Jonathan Taylor, this is great news for him. All right, Jonathan Taylor has been confirmed as the starter for this Colts team. On top of that, as of right now, the Colts are favored at home going against Minnesota. Okay, this is the same Minnesota squad that just gave up almost 18 DraftKings points to Aaron Jones. Now, Jonathan Taylor's not Aaron Jones, but at the same time, Jonathan Taylor is a talented back. He can do a lot in the pass game as well. He had 6 targets, 6 receptions for 67 yards against Jacksonville in this last game. I love the ability that he's going to get some solid carries here with him being the confirmed starter. He should get at least like 15 carries, but he also has that potential to get plenty in the pass game as well. Jonathan Taylor feels like a solid option to me, especially with Marlon Mack out. I know they have a couple other mouths to feed with Hines and Wilkins, but at the end of the day, Jonathan Taylor is their confirmed starter, will be their guy, and he will be the main back. These other guys will sprinkle in for third downs. All right? Now, let's go ahead and go to wide receiver. Man, hey, really quick. You see how quick I clicked that? Do you see how quick I went to Davante Adams right there? All right? Davante Adams literally screwed me week 1. Okay? If anybody would have told me, listen, don't go Dalvin Cook because Davante Adams is going to go for 40-plus DraftKings points, I'd tell them they sound ridiculous. If they would have told me, oh, trust me, Davante Adams is going to get 17 targets, I'd be like, dude, you are fucking high. But at the end of the day, that's exactly what he did. 44 DraftKings points, 17 targets, 2 touchdowns. And he ended up being chalk. And that's what really screwed me here, but I'm not making that mistake here again. Davante Adams gets to go against Detroit, which is even better for the matchup. Oh, my goodness. I love this matchup. I can't possibly fade him after what he did to me last week, so that's just plain and simple. Just that is what it is. All right? Now, I got a few what I feel like is sneaky plays here. All right? Michael Gallup. Now, Gallup did not get a ton of play here against the Rams. He only got 5 targets against the Rams this last week, but that game was kind of sluggish. It was just a lot of the run game from Zeke. They didn't really have to air it out a ton. But Michael Gallup here against Atlanta, this seems like a sneaky spot here. All right, Atlanta last week gave up almost 20 to Metcalf. Okay, their number 2 receiver. Now, Gallup is Dallas's number 2 receiver. I'm calling it. I think Gallup has a 20-plus DraftKings points day. For GPPs, I love Gallup. In cash, I don't necessarily think you're going to have to go here. But I think this game ends up being a shootout. And I absolutely love it here. So Michael Gallup as a GPP option. Like I said, I think he's got some big potential here in this one. Any receivers, any offensive players in general against Atlanta is always in play, plain and simple, because the game is going to be a high-scoring shootout. Okay, so you want a piece of it. I'm going to go with the cheaper piece off of Amari Cooper, which I do love Amari too. I'm going to go with the cheaper piece and go Michael Gallup, which, by the way, I love Zeke too. I love the Dallas offense in general. All right, now I've got some value for you. I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. Now, Deontay looked interesting here. He got 10 targets in this first week against the Giants. That's fantastic to see. James Conner went down with an ankle injury. That's definitely a main thing that I want to mention in this video is to keep an eye on, because if he's out, Snell is going to be fantastic. Deontay Johnson just was able to see a good amount of targets here in this one. He was really, really busy. Now he gets to go against Denver that just gave up, wait for it, over 20 points to Corey Davis. Deontay Johnson seems like a solid value option to plug in to be able to get some of these big dogs like Davante Adams, Lamar Jackson. And I really like him here. Deontay Johnson, solid option here against Denver. Next up, at tight end, I'm going to go Logan Thomas. Now, exactly the reason why I said I kind of want the run game for Arizona, because I think Arizona's going to be up pretty solid. That's exactly why I like Logan Thomas on the other side being down. Okay? Now, I hate his quarterback. I'll start by saying that. I absolutely hate Haskins. Okay? But he did get 8 targets here against Philly, got in the end zone, ended up with 13 DraftKings points. Now, this is the prime tight end matchup here against Arizona in a game script where they should be down and throwing it a lot, trying to catch up. I like Logan Thomas here in this one. I hate, like I said, let me reiterate, I hate his quarterback, Haskins. For some reason, the dude's just not very good. But I love his target in Logan Thomas, I'm not going to lie. Now, at flex, this is something to keep an eye on because we obviously want to keep an eye on what they're going to do with Leonard Fournette. But so far, what it's looking like, I mean, I know it's just week 1, but here's what I've heard. Here's what I'm hearing, okay? Now, first and foremost, they've already came out and pretty much said Ronald Jones is going to be the main running back week 2 as well. Okay, same situation. He's going to be the same. He got 17 carries against New Orleans. Now, Fournette's going to be worked in slowly because he's new and he's got to get used to the playbook. But even them coming out and saying, like, yeah, week 2, Ronald Jones is still going to be our number 1. Fournette's not going to take a ton of touches from him yet. And Ronald Jones is in a fantastic spot against Carolina. All right, he had a solid game against New Orleans, getting 10 DraftKings points. That's not it's not a ton, but the best part about it is knowing that he got the workload. 17 carries. Okay, so I really love Ronald Jones here, especially in this matchup against Carolina. It's definitely a better matchup than New Orleans. I think he's going to be a solid flex play this week. And last but not least, to end it up, we've got 3-2. Let's look at our 3-2 options. We've got the Vikings D against the Colts. That's okay. Washington against Arizona. No way I'm doing that. I like the Cardinals defense to pair up with Kenyon Drake. I love pairing my running backs up with my defense if I'm able to. It's not something you have to force, but I do like pairing it up because at the end of the day, if the running back is doing great, most of the time the defense ends up being pretty solid as well. They kind of correlate. You know what I mean? Because if the defense is sucking and the other team's scoring a ton, you're not going to be running the ball much. You know what I mean? So I like Kenyon Drake paired with the Cardinals defense. And that's it. That's the first look lineup for this week 2. We've got Lamar Jackson. You don't have to pair Lamar Jackson up with anybody. The dude is a beast on the ground. He doesn't have to be paired with anybody, even though you could pair him with Mark Andrews, of course. You could pair him with Hollywood Brown. You could do whatever you want. But Lamar, for me, he's just in play in general. It doesn't matter. I don't care 100% on pairing him with anybody. Kenyon Drake. Jonathan Taylor, Drake in a game where Arizona should be able to score at will, should be up pretty easily. I think he's going to have a breakout game here. And remember, this is the same dude who's got huge, 40-point upside he's done a few times. He's a beast. Jonathan Taylor here with Marlon Mack rupturing his Achilles. Devontae Adams will not screw me again. Michael Gallup in a shootout against Atlanta. Remember, like I said, Metcalf had a solid game as the number 2 receiver for Seattle last week against Atlanta. I'm expecting another big one here out of the number 2, and Michael Gallup as a GPP option at 5.6 in what should be a definite shootout here in this matchup. Absolutely love it. And then Deontay Johnson. Dude got solid targets in the first week. James Conner is a guy who's a threat to possibly miss again. If he does, then I love Snell as well. But Deontay Johnson had solid targets, got 10 targets, gets to go again in a matchup against Denver, who just gave up a ton to Corey Davis. Okay, which is the same number receiver as we're dealing with here. He's the number 2. So I like Deontay Johnson a lot here. Logan Thomas is playing catch-up against Arizona. Ronald Jones II has been announced to continue to be the number 1 in week 2. Even though Leonard Fournette is there, he should not be expected to take a ton away from him. I absolutely love him. And then the Arizona Cardinals defense to pair up with Kenyon Drake. I absolutely love that pairing. And I will be excited to see how this goes, man. Last week's first look lineup did solid as well, and I'm excited to see how this one turns out. GreenlightDFS.com, join the squad. Remember to come back for the final look video. We will be doing a $100 giveaway on that video, and I will be explaining whatever you need to do in that video. But make sure you come back for the final look. Drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get over 200 likes on this video down below. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'm out. Peace.